Okay, let me just join my voice in thanking Professor De Chowdhury for a very, very interesting talk. Um, and it is, I agree, a great way to close the conference. I'm not going to say too much because I had my say at the beginning of the conference, but just to say I really enjoyed many of the papers. Unfortunately, I had to do annual reviews, so I was in and out of the workshop, but those that I heard, I really did enjoy. I hope that all of you got a lot out of the conference as well. I noticed the very, very spirited question and answer sessions a lot of times, and also grappling with some of the ethical issues, the issues of marginal groups and data, the issues of the ethical use of data that Professor De Chowdhury raised in her talk tonight. So I just want to, I'm going to give most of the time to Professor Khim, Yong, head of DISA. And I don't know whether Junpil Han, former head, wants to say anything as well. But let me just use the opportunity to thank everybody for participating, especially the keynote speakers for excellent leadership, thought leadership, intellectual leadership in the conference, and the organizing committee for all the work you've done. I want to thank DISA for their partnership in what I hope was a very fruitful endeavor for both sides and has led to a lot of intellectual food for thought. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to my counterpart, Prof. Khim Yong, head of DISA, to close the conference. Khim Yong, please.
Sure. Thanks so much, Robbie. So I'll keep my kind of closing remarks short. So I guess, first of all, again, I would like to thank our FASS colleagues for inviting us to be part of this great inaugural conference on computational social science. All right, I guess judging from the range of studies that we have looked at, I guess it's all very all-encompassing, okay, stretching from, I guess, the most of the topics that we have seen kind of entailed using data from social media. And you can see that from social media data, for example, we can study a very wide range of kind of topics ranging from mental health, and some of the other topics would of course pertain to some of the business outcomes, like some of the work that I've done on social media marketing. And also I think some of my colleagues have also looked at e-commerce data from the keynote this morning by our keynote speaker, Professor Anita Ghosh from New York University. So he's one of the internationally renowned kind of researcher who has looked at mobile devices data. So increasingly, I guess a lot of this sort of computational social science work, I would kind of predict that a lot of this work is going to go beyond, let's say, for example, the easily available data from social media, right, to what Nosha contractor was saying in terms of digital exhaust data. Increasingly, many of us, I am sure, using this sort of data for various kinds of additional data source to answer a variety of questions, okay, looking at whether a certain phenomena would be significant, okay, and of course entailing the usual how, when, where, and importantly, to answer the why question, all right, so which is, of course, the main focus here is on causal inference, all right, so we as researchers, of course, we would usually endeavor to go beyond our usual kind of descriptive analysis. And what's more exciting is, of course, in terms of the methods, I guess you can see, I think as from our audience, we can see that a lot of the new methods in terms of the computational social science side, our colleagues in FSS, okay, my colleagues in DISA, my colleagues in the computer science department are using various types of course, AI methods, machine learning, computer vision, speech processing. Some of the more traditional ones came from network analysis, econometrics, geospatial analysis. So the whole field is definitely becoming a lot more exciting. So as more and more on these new methods, okay, are going to be used, there's also hopefully some level of cross-pollination between the different kind of methodological areas. So one of those exciting areas, I suppose, would be, let's say, for example, I've seen also a lot of cross-pollination of ideas at the intersection between machine learning and econometrics. All right, so these are some of the areas where we can kind of learn from each other across the fields and the different reference disciplines, from economics or psychology, and across, of course, the computer science areas. All right, so lastly, as I said, I want to thank our FSS colleagues, very hardworking colleagues, Chiu Si, Chen Jie, Andrew, and for working with us, with our DISA colleagues to successfully organize this inaugural conference on computational social science. All right, so lastly, thank you very much, of course, to the audience. And I hope to see everyone again next year for the continuation of the second round of this conference. Thank you very much.